Hello, welcome to another awesome or whatever early morning barking. Terrible intro. Hello. Please remember to like and subscribe and all of that stuff. And there's some socially things scrolling past that you can follow me on. And also please share and things like that. That would be great. Thank you. So I'm here today to talk about BPD and impulsive and self-destructive behaviours. These are a bit horrible, some of them. Some of them not so much, but they're all destructive. I mean, that's hence the name, really. So when you've got BPD, you're generally feeling bad most of the time, and you'll do pretty much whatever it takes sometimes to not feel as bad. Be that making yourself in some way feel good, or even just making yourself in some way feel absolutely nothing whatsoever. You just want the bad feeling to go away. If you've seen my video on suicidal behavior, that's a very big part of it. We just want to not feel bad. And when we feel suicidal, that's just seen as a way to stop feeling bad. Rather than a desire to be dead, it's about a desire to just not feel this pain that we're feeling on a constant basis. And so a lot of the time, though, luckily, the reaction to that isn't as strong as a suicidal reaction. And we tend to do other things, which are still destructive, but not totally destructive, depending on the thing. I think the easier ones, the things that are quite common, are things like shopping, right? Impulsive, self-destructive behavior. Shopping for unnecessary things fits that bill perfectly. There are few things as satisfying as hitting the buy it now button. It's as simple as that, really. A new shiny thing is coming. I have bought so many things that I didn't need just for the thrill of buying a thing. Because that day I didn't feel so bad. That was that day I got that phone or that laptop or whatever. For some people, it's TVs. Sometimes you keep it to a sort of minimum, and maybe it's just like a Switch game or something like that. You know, this is obviously destructive because you're spending money you haven't got on crap you don't need. Sometimes you get lucky and you can kind of justify it. Sometimes there's something you actually really can use. I've gotten more than a few things with a very tenuous link to some sort of work thing or whatever. I'm doing a tech show. I have to have one of every type of phone. That kind of thing. It's bullshit, and it just lets you buy things that you don't need because you want a shiny thing because it feels good when you buy a shiny thing. That's easy to deal with. Then you get on to others that are a bit more terrifyingly destructive. Your extreme sports, I suppose, might be a thing. But really what we're looking at is things like drug use, alcoholism, hypersexuality, all kinds of stuff that you think on the face of it is going to make you feel good. Stuff that maybe actually does make you feel good for a little bit. You know, I mean, people don't take drugs because they feel horrible, right? People don't drink because they hate it. It makes them feel good. People don't have sex with random strangers because it all seems like a good idea at the time. And I'm not saying that these things are necessarily bad in moderation or whatever. But when you're doing these things just to not feel bad, not because you want to do these things, then you've got a problem, haven't you? Then that's not why you should be doing these things, if at all. And so things can start to fall apart. I mean, obviously with drug use, it's quite obvious to see how things can start to fall apart. I mean, that was my own particular self-destructive behavior, because You tend to, I think we tend to move towards things that you can fit in around your life. And being stoned a lot of the time can fit in around my life. That's the thing. Whereas if you're just drunk all the time, that's something to deal with in itself. I mean, God, I can't imagine what that must be like to deal with. But look, this is how people get onto harder drugs and things like that. This is very obviously self-destructive behavior. Now, the way to deal with it that I've found is actually quite simple. This is a fairly easy one to deal with, depending on your personal situation. If you are a habitual drug user, the advice of just stop it is not worth shit to you. I totally understand. But we can start to chip away at some things. So, of all these things that I've mentioned, and there are vastly more, and look, if you're somebody who suffers from BPD and you think you have self-destructive behaviors, you are best placed to understand what they are and how they're destroying you and harming you. I don't know your specific situation, but you can identify those. There will be some. Let's start with the easy ones, right? Let's deal with a coke problem later, right? But deal with shit. The buying stuff you don't need, right? That I found fairly easy to stop because you know you're doing it. There is a twinge of guilt as it's going on, and you can sort of take that deep breath and have a minute and just not buy that third mobile phone. Really, you know you don't need it. This is fine. This is a good one to start with. And the easier ones, I found it straightforward to identify that I was doing and just stop them. But don't forget, you're doing these things because they make you feel good, because they stop you feeling bad, right? If you just take them away, that's not going to end well. It's not going to be easy that way. You have to replace these things with healthy things, right? There are things out there that can make you feel good, that you can enjoy, that are not self-destructive. Again, I can only throw random suggestions at you. I can't tell you how much benefit I've gotten from just doing a bit of exercise. That has helped immensely. And I feel just totally better in myself. I feel physically now the best I've ever felt, certainly as an adult. And so you filling a void with these impulsive behaviors. You're going to create another void by taking them away. You've got to fill them with something else, whatever that is for you. Exercise, start writing, learn to draw, go sailing. I don't know. You can figure that out. Getting rid of a bad habit is difficult in itself, but it becomes 1,000 times easier if you can replace it with something that is actually good for you. Beyond the benefit of the thing you're doing, you feel so much better for knowing you're not being self-destructive and for knowing that the thing you're doing is benefiting you. There's just so much benefit. It's benefit all over the place. All right. I don't know how easy it will be for you to do because, like I say, this depends on what you're going through and what your self-destructive behaviors are. Some of these might require, beyond sort of treatment for BPD, treatment for certain self-destructive behaviors are a task in themselves. It's not an easy thing to stop being an alcoholic or a habitual drug user or a habitual gambler or any number of other things. These are all problems that people spend a lifetime tackling on their own. And you're probably doing it alongside all this other BPD shit. Go easy on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself if you slip up. That's a video in itself as a message, right? You're working to your own time frame. I know you want to get better and not do these things, but don't punish yourself just because you slip up. If you buy that game off Amazon, it's all right. You can have another day tomorrow where you don't buy one. It's easy to see how these things make you feel better, but they're not really doing that job. It is to making you feel better what McDonald's is to fine dining, right? It looks like it. It smells like it. For 5 minutes, it even tastes like it. But you know it's not. And no amount of kidding yourself is going to really change your mind. You've just got to find a positive thing to replace it with. It's such a cliche, but that's because it's true. And that goes for a lot of these problems that I'll talk about in videos. Finding something good to replace them with. Finding the opposite of what they are and doing that. And it's difficult at first, but you can do it, and it just becomes habit. And things start to snowball then. You start to feel better in every way. So good luck. Let me know how you get on. What are some of your self-destructive behaviors? I'd love to talk some more. Leave me a comment below. Okay, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.